We're learning the Sikha on Tetzave, Zayin Adar, in Chelek Chavav on page 204. The shir today is being learned L'Nishmas, Rabbi Yosef ben Yamin ben Rabbi Menashe Koltman. Zayin Adar, Yoim Petiras, Moshe Rabbeinu, the day of Zayin Adar, which is the day of the passing, the yard site of Moshe Rabbeinu, Faltais Berev Hashonim Besmichas to Parshas Tetzave, falls out in most years near this parsha, the parsha of Tetzave. Und wie steht in Sfarim, is the Aremes of them in the parsha. So in Sfarim it says that this is hinted in this parsha. Parshas Tetzave is the einzige Seder in the Torah, Mishnelad Moshe bis Mishnah Torah. Parshas Tetzave is the only parsha in the Torah from when Moshe is born until Mishnah Torah, which is Chumash Devarim, was vertnet the mont Moshe's Namen, where Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not mentioned. That's the hint for the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu passed away in this time of the year on Zayin Adar. Is l'chayr nit glatik. So seemingly this is not smoothly understood. In Parshas Tetzave, ved blois nit amont the shem Moshe b'mefurish. In Parshas Tetzave, it's the name of Moshe that's not explicitly mentioned. As an abada in the Sedra a ribui psukim was redden wegen Moshe. However, in the Parsha though, there are many psukim that are speaking about Moshe Rabbeinu, metzi sich zu him, and are referring to him. Onaybendik von Aschalas HaSedre Mamish, in the beginning, the very first word in the parsha, Va'ata Moshe Tetzave, that you Moshe will command Yidden, unach kama v'kama tzivuyim to Moshe, and also additional commands to Moshe that are in this week's parsha. So how can we say that Moshe is not mentioned in the parsha? He may not be mentioned by name explicitly, but it begins with Va'ata, referring to Moshe Rabbeinu. Additionally, regarding this hint to Moshe Rabbeinu's Estalkus, his passing, der nit der Monen, der Tzaddik, is Heipech from the Minyan Estalkusim Shel Tzaddikim. The fact that that Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned here is the opposite of the concept of the Histalkus of a Tzaddik. Because what is the Histalkus, the passing of a Tzaddik, represent? When a tzaddik wird nestalik von der Welt. When a tzaddik leaves this world, riert es doch nit an sein Shem u'poleisav. It does not in any way affect his name or his activities in the world. Sie bleiben la'ad und werden nicht vergessen chas v'shalom. His activities and his name in the world remains forever and is not, God forbid, forgotten. Es geht weg von der Welt nor der Guf von der tzaddik. The only thing that leaves from this world is the body, the physical presence of the tzaddik. So if that's the case, how can we say that the lack of Moshe Rabbeinu being mentioned in the Parsha hints to the Histalkus? There's no change in the presence or in the name and the activity of the tzaddik in the world, God forbid. It's just his guf, his physical body. Es wie sagt man as die Histalkus von Moshe wird nirmals dafke durch nit der Mann sein Shem. So how do we say that the Histalkus of Moshe is hinted by the fact that he's not mentioned here by name? Noch mehr, additionally, the tzivuyim to Moshe in Parshas Tetzave, zen beloshim Tetzave, v'asisa, v'lakachta, v'chayetze b'zeh. All these expressions, what do they mean? They zen gesagt geworden zu Moshe beloshim noichach. They're being said to Moshe Rabbeinu directly, speaking to him directly, meaning that he's here, he's present. Be'ez as beribe mekaymis, ubesmichas l'Parshas Seinu, seif Parshas Mishpatim, in many places, including in the end of Parshas Mishpatim, wo Moshe vert the mond b'shmoi is es ba'ifn as meretnor vegen Moshe, kilu shaloi b'fanav. When Moshe Rabbeinu's name is mentioned and it's speaking about what Hashem said to Moshe, it's not speaking directly l'noichach about Moshe Rabbeinu, as it says in Va'atot Tetzave, and you speaking about Moshe Rabbeinu, not even naming him because he's present. Rather, when it does name him, it's speaking about Moshe Rabbeinu, which is not directly present here. It's just speaking about him. Meaning that Adar, here in the parsha where it says Va'ata Tetzave, there's more of an expression of the presence of Moshe Rabbeinu than in other places where he's mentioned by name. So how does this connect to the Histalkus, to the day of the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu? So we can say that the explanation for this is as follows. Es steht in Zohar, Tzadike de Espater, Ishtakach, Bukula Almen, Yatem, Ibachayei. Zohar tells us that a tzaddik that leaves the world is actually found in this world even more than in his lifetime. As a tzaddik befindt sich, noch sein Betire in all oilemis, a tzaddik is found after his passing in all worlds, koilo oilam hazeh, including this world here. Noch mehr wie bechayev, even more than in his lifetime. On yatem b'chayei meint nitztam yisrin. When it says that he's present here, more than in his lifetime, it doesn't just mean any level of more of an advantage. Not a yisrein shulei berech. His presence here is on a completely higher level, totally unrelated to what was before. And the reason for this is, Weil, wie the Alter Rebbe is mevayer, as the Alter Rebbe explains this in Igeres HaKodesh, Aleph, the first point the Alter Rebbe says, V'hiyayis ha-tzadik chai al pnei ha'adama, when the tzaddik is alive in a body in this world, then the chai ha-tzadik given ongeton in a keli ulevush begufay. The life of the tzaddik is contained within a vessel, within the garment of his body. And therefore you could only receive from the tzaddik a radiance of his neshama, of his greatness. However, after the tzaddik passes away, so in the presence of the tzaddik, the life of the tzaddik that's still present in this world is not contained within a vessel, in the body. Und kann man mekabel sein mit b'chinas ruach ha'atzmius von dem tzaddik. And therefore, at this point, you can get from the essence, from the spirit of the essence of the tzaddik himself, that's not limited, not just the radiance of the tzaddik. Beis, another point is, the petira von a tzaddik is, what does it mean that a tzaddik leaves, departs from this world? What it actually means is, aliyas ruchay v'nishmasay l'mekar chaytzvay. That's his spirit, his neshama, being elevated to the source of where he was carved out from. This level of the neshama of a tzaddik, in its source, is ishtakach dalamata, is available and is present here below in this world. That's the greatness of what happens at the petira of a tzaddik. It is not less of his presence in this world, even more, unlimited. The essence of the tzaddik that gets elevated to its source is found and is available here below. So based on what the Alter Rebbe says, it comes out. As the stalkusum shel tzadikim had zwei ketzaves, the passing of a tzaddik. So there's two extremes that happen here. The stalkus von a tzaddik begashmius, the fact that a tzaddik is passing away physically, is verbunden mit seine stalkos va'aliyah beruchnius. This is connected to the elevation of the neshama of the tzaddik on a spiritual level. That is oila be'ilu yacher ilu. The neshama of the tzaddik gets elevated level by level, higher and higher. Bis zu sharshay u'mekoirei harishin, to the highest source of where the neshama comes from. In sein Atzmius, was is in ganzen Hecha von Gili, in the essence of the level of the neshama, which is completely removed of any level of revelation or expression. Und der Far is the tzaddik nida ba'olam ba'ifan gali. And therefore, there is no actual expression of the presence of the tzaddik in this world in a revealed way. But on the other hand, die ganze Atzmius von the tzaddik, this entire essence of the tzaddik is done la'acha petirasai in an oifen von ishtakach b'kula almen biz olam hazeh, is here and is present and is found and is available even in this physical world. Und der Rebbe kann von ihm mekabel sein yatem b'chayei, and therefore it's at this time that one can receive from the tzaddik even more than in his lifetime. That's what happens by the istalkus of a tzaddik. Now, based on this, we can understand on a deeper level, the hint to the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu in the Parashat Tetzave, that his name is not mentioned here. Al pizev, wir verstehen dem Tam, was ist Talkusse shel Moshe es merumes, dafke, durch nit der Mannen, Shmoi shel Moshe beParashat Tetzave. The hint is by the fact that it's the name of Moshe that's not mentioned in the parasha. What is the significance of the name? The namen von a mention is nit etzem mitziyusay. The name of a person is not his essence, his existence, who he is. In Yonif and Hashem is negei for them zulas. A name is only for communication or connection to someone outside, not you. So someone else can refer to you with a name. Der Mensch für sich darf nicht kein Namen. A person for himself does not need that identity, does not need that name. As we clearly see, as a Namen wird gegeben, kame yomim noch leides avlad. A name is given to a child a few days after the child is born. Bizas mitzias avlad is dan takef is da. Be'es as mitzias avlad is da takef mishanoilad v'yatzal aver olam. While the existence of the child born is here from the moment he comes into the atmosphere of the world. And a child from the moment he's born inherits his father, and he inherits everything if he's an only child. That means there's nothing lacking in his existence from the moment he's born. However, when you speak to a person that's present, ato, and you use the term ato, you, because you don't have to name him, because he's speaking directly to him, and he's standing right here. Here, you're speaking to the person himself, and that is to the essence of the person, not to the aspect of this person that relates to an outsider. The similar is also regarding the entity of Moshe Rabbeinu. The name Moshe is ihm gegeben geworden am Meshach Zman noch sein Leder. The name Moshe was given to him a while after he was born. Furthermore, der Name Moshe, this name Moshe, is bepashtus ihm gegeben geworden nit von seinen Eltern. Simply, as we see, it wasn't given by his parents, nor from Bas Parei. Ki min hamayim mishisiu. The daughter of Parei, because she took him out of the water, gave him this name of Moshe based on what she did. So it's not even a name that came from his own parents. Und das ist der Remez auf Histalkusei shel Moshe beParshas Tetzave. So now we understand the hint for the Histalkus, the elevation, and then the greater presence of the essence of the tzaddik in this world that's hinted in Parshas Tetzave. V'shas Histalkusei shel Moshe is enes alle geworden in sein Atzmius shel Lamayla mebchin Hashem. So Moshe Rabbeinu's neshama gets elevated to his essence that's above the aspect of his existence that's in a name. Und der Fahr wird in Parshas Tetzave nit mit dem Mond b'shmoi Moshe, and therefore in the Parsha is not mentioned by his name, by the name of Moshe. Aber is af kan oimedu mishamish. However, as the lashon of the Gemara says, even here he continues to serve and he continues to be present. And even more so mit sein ganze atzmius wie is b'moreh, with his entire essence, as he is above, removed of any level of expression and revelation. It's that level of Moshe Rabbeinu that's here, that's in this world. Und der is Moshe faran beParshas Tetzave, and therefore Moshe Rabbeinu is very much present in the story of this week's parsha. Adar, on the contrary, meretz im l'noichach. Here, Moshe Rabbeinu's presence is even stronger. He's being spoken about as someone that's right here in front of you. V'ato Tetzave, was weist wie the Kliyaker is mefarish of mohus atzmuscha von Moshe. The v'ato means to you, speaking to one that's here. This is the very essence of Moshe Rabbeinu that's present in the world after his passing. That is what the histalkos, the elevation of Moshe Rabbeinu is. Avibal das Shmoi shel Moshe wird nit demont in the ganze Sedre. Since the name of Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned in the entire parsha, is the von verstandig as the Teichen von ganz Parshas Tetzave is verbunden mit sein Netzen. So it's understood that the content of the entire parsha is connected to the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu Shalamayla Mishem Moshe, which is above the name of Moshe. It's known, it was explained many times, as the Teichen von Yeder Seder is merumiz in Yernomen. The content of every parsha is hinted in the name of the parsha. Darf man sagen, as the Inyan Omer b'shaychus Moshe is merumiz in the Shem HaSedre. So the point mentioned here about the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu is also hinted in the name of the parsha. Was dort minig Yisrael und wie gedruckt in Chumoshim, the custom and as printed in the Chumoshim is as the name of the parsha is Tetzave. This one word, Tetzave. So the idea spoken about here, the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu above his name, is hinted in this word Tetzave. To explain this, the Rebbe is going to talk here about the gematria, the numerical value in the Aleph-based letters of the word Tetzave. But the Rebbe first gives an introduction regarding using a gematria as explaining a concept, to explain the content of a word and to relate it to a certain concept. So we can explain what the word Tetzave represents with the following introduction. Afapi as einer von the vier oifani limud al-Torah is the limud al-derech ha-remes. One of the four ways of learning Torah, this pshat, remes, drush, and said, is to learn al-derech ha-remes, hints of the words of Torah. Was is kaidel, the inyan from gematriyos, which includes also gematria, only megefintes and svarim from Gedolei Yisrael, as it's found in the svarim of the very great ones amongst Yidden, wie the Bala Turim, Megala Mukis, Va'oid Va'oid, that focus on explaining gematrias of words. Is a b'muvan, at the same time though it's understood, as das is nit kein sada prutza vayeder and samachen eigene gematriyos. This is not just an open field for anyone to come in and make calculations of the words and the number of what it comes to. No yet the gematria darf ma moker. If there's a gematria, there has to be a source for this. Wenn zwei Wörter haben dieselbe Gematria, if two words have the same Gematria, is noch nicht kein Hechrich of sehr Shachis Pnibis zwischen sich. There's nothing forcing us to say that there's really a deep connection between these two things, that they share a certain content. Das ist, wenn sie haben a Teichen Mishutif. The fact that there's a gematria that means that there's a connection, that's if these two words really do have, they share the same content, was dann drückt sich das aus, betur simen vahechache in the ishtavis von sehr gematria is. Then, the fact that these two words have a connection in their content will be expressed by the fact that they also have the same gematria. So it's possible that two words have the same gematria, but they really do not express the same idea, they're not connected in their content. It's when you have two words that are related to each other, that will also be expressed in their gematria, sometimes. Und wie es ist verstandig euch von der alten Rebensbier in Tanya in der Minyan gematria. This idea is understood, as the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, the concept of a gematria, as the gematria von a Wort weist auf die Beginne achroina, shu beginnes acheshbin und mispar kamen min koich was eine faran in tevezu. Idea of the gematria refers to the lowest level of what these words of the Aleph Beis that are in this word. The lowest level is the calculation of the number of these letters, and that tells you how many are the godly energy that it's here in this world, in this word that is, in its number. That's the lowest aspect that's hinted here in the gematria of this word. The selbe gematria weist, dass sie haben dieselbe Zahl Koiches in sehr Ervachayis. When you have two words that come to the same gematria, all it means is that as far as the number of the godly energy and life that's in the word, it's the same in one word and the same in the other. Aber sagt nicht, als der Teuchen von die Koiches von ein Wort hat Scheiches zum Teuchen a Koiches von der zweiten Wort. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the content of that energy, the godly energy that's here in one word, is related to the content of another. It's just that the number of Oyer v'chayis, of light and life of Hashem that's in this word, is the same number, but not as far as the content of what it represents. It's only once you know that there is a relation in the idea that there is here in both of these words. Is the gematria oy chasimin, so then the gematria also serves as a sign, as does then in B'shorsham, die selbe mine koiches, welches then including be'or v'chayis und die zwei Werte. Then the gematria shows this, expresses this, that the life, the godly energy that there is in one word and in the other are the same. They're the same kind of koiches of Hashem that's in one word and the other, that's included and is here in both words. The source of the godly energy comes down from level to level. That's been minimized many levels. And therefore, all that's left of this same source of Oyer and Chayis, where it comes from, only the lowest level, which is expressed by the number, the calculation of the gematria. And therefore it comes out into two different words through the miyut, the fact that it comes down in two different words, and the only relation between them is in the number. But that's only in a case where you know that there's a connection in the idea, that these two words share the same content. But there are gematrias, you can have two words that have the same gematria, and there's no real meaningful connection between these two words. So, coming back over here to what we're discussing. The gematria from Wort Tetzave, the gematria of this word Tetzave. So why are we focusing on this, and why are we taking out a lesson from this to understand what the content of the parsha is? In addition to the fact that this is a gematria that's just there, and it's so blatant, it's so obvious to notice, is there beer l'kamon miyusid of the Teichen from Parshas Tetzave, nit von Cheshbon v'gematria. The explanation here regarding the gematria is not just finding the number that fits with something else, but it's actually based on the idea, on the content of what the parsha is, and it's also expressed in the gematria, but it's not just simply based on the number itself. So what is the gematria of Tetzave? The gematria from Tetzave is Tov Kuf Aleph. It's 501. Was in dem mispar ein smer wie chamish meyais, this number, one more than 500, wird nirmaz the madrege von etzem, was is hecha von Shem. This hints to what we spoke about before, that this is the parsha where the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu was present, higher than the level of a name of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Bir Bezeh, what's the significance of 501? Chazal Zogin, it says in the Medrash, as Holach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mahalech Chomesh Meis Shana, Liknis Noishem. Hashem travels 500 years to acquire for himself a name. What does this mean? What does it mean Hashem is traveling and 500 years and he acquires a name? Umavur them, so in Chassidus it's explained, Klolos Ha'ilam, Seder Shtal Shalos, Shtal Tzachais and Chomesh Meis. The existence of all worlds, the entire system of creation, is set up with this number of 500. It's represented in this number. When Hashem travels 500 years, this is how he acquires a name, which is the Gili from Shmoi Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the revelation of Hashem through a name. Well, Kanal has explained before, as Shem Vaista from Medrege, Velach is Shayach zu Azulas. A name refers to a level that relates only to someone outside. Same thing here regarding Hashem. It's the revelation of godliness in relation to the existence of Seder Shtalshlos of the world. There's an entity that can refer to you with this name. That's the number 500, the shleimus of existence of the whole system of all the worlds that Hashem created. And it's in the level of godliness related to creating the world. The mispah from Tovkuf Aleph, now, so the number of 501, Ein Smervi Tovkuf, one level above, the one above the 500, Vais Toif Echad Yechidoi Shalaylam. This refers to Hashem, the very only existence that's above the world, the Etzem versus Hechev from the Tovkuf Shana Fanaylam, the essence of Hashem that's above the level of 500 related to, say, the Rishtalshalas, Hashem coming down to create the system of creation, Hecher from Liknis Leishem. Higher than Hashem coming down on this level to be related to an outsider that refers to him by name. That's the significance of the number 501, the essence of Hashem. So therefore we see that Tetzave is the gematria related to the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu that's above a name. We can now also say that this is the explanation for the gematria that is brought in Svarim regarding another name, as Oster is Begematria Tovkuf Aleph. The name Oster is 501. While Oster, Meloshen Oisher. Oster, which means one that's fortunate and has pleasure, Vaistev Tainig. It refers to the level of pleasure in a person. Was das is the hechste Inyan von a Menschen, was is verbunden mit sein Atzmius. That's the highest aspect of the soul of the person connected to his essence. Ukemaimer, and as the saying goes, Ein Lamai Lamoinig. There's no level above the pleasure within a person. Therefore, the Oster is 501, referring to the essence of the person. Similar is also said in Chazal regarding the levels of the neshama of a person. Chazal Zogin, Chamisha Shemis Nikrula. The neshama has 5 different names. Was the Chamisha Shemis, Kaila Yechida, the 5 names which are Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and including Yechida as well, the highest levels, and a Nit, that's a neshama. It's not the very essence of the person. These are names of the essence of the neshama. Now, Valpia Yedua, as the Shleimus von Yedin Mispar is, when es is da die Eskalos von Yud Pamim Yud, the ultimate completion of a number is when it's timed 10 times 10. So that's 1. So the Shleimus of 1 is 100. So the Shleimus of 5 is 500. Kumtais as the Shleimus von the Chamisha Shemis, von the Neshama, Shtal Tzachais b'Mispar Chamish Meis. So the highest, the ultimate level of the 5 levels of the Neshama is expressed in the number of 500. Und the Mispar von Tetzave, Tovkuf Aleph, Eine Mer von Tovkuf. So if so, the number of Tovkuf Aleph here, that's hinted in the gematria of Tetzave, 501, is Merames, if Etzem HaNeshama, was is Hecher von Chamisha Shemes Nikrula. That's the essence of the Neshama, which is higher than the 5 levels that are in the name of the Neshama. So therefore we see here that in the name of the Parsha, Tetzave, it hints to the point about this Parsha that Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not mentioned, but it's the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu that's present in this Parsha, and this is the hint to Zayin Adar, the day of the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu, when the presence of the Tzaddik is here in his essence. Another hint for this is also with a number, that in Yanal in Parsha Tetzave, as da retzach wegen dem Etzem, was is Hecher von Gilui. This idea that in this Parsha it speaks about the essence that's higher than revelation is Oich Merum is in the Mispar Psukim in the Sedre. Is also hinted in the number of the Psukim in this week's Parsha, which are Kuf Aleph, 101, and Mechal Siman. The name Mechal is the Siman for this number of 101. The Alter Rebbe is Mevayer in Likutei Torah. The Alter Rebbe in Likutei Torah explains the chiluk zwischen the misparim kuf and kuf aleph. What is the difference between the number 100 and 101? As the mispar kuf vayis of the shleimus and seder shtalshalos. 100 refers to the completion of seder shtalshalos, similar to what we spoke about before regarding the system of creation. Kuf aleph oif chad v'lo b'chushban. Kuf aleph refers to Hashem that's one and does not go into this cheshbon of creation. Und wir bringt from Marsha bepirish mai mechazal. The Alter Rebbe quotes also from the Marsha that says, "Eine doime sheine pirke mei pamim l'sheine pirke mei pamim v'echad." So the Gemara says that you can't compare one that reviews what he learns in Torah 100 times and one that reviews it 101 times. As mispar meya is verbunden mit nefesh ruach neshama. The number 100 refers to the completion of the neshama of a person in these three levels of nefesh, ruach, and neshama. One that learns 101 times, one time more, hu Chelek eleka mimal. This is the neshama itself above a name, and that's that one time more, which is the chad v'lo b'chushban, the essence of the neshama. Kumtais as the reiftu from kuf aleph of kuf is al derech the reiftu anaf and taf kuf aleph legabe taf kuf. So the level of 101 more than 100 is similar to what was explained before, the level of 1 more than 500, which is above 500. Now, based on this, the Rebbe comes back now to explain why is this all hinted specifically in a gematria. Based on what the Rebbe said before about gematria, we'll understand why this comes out specifically through a gematria. Al Pei Mavur Leil Siv Dalet. Based on what we explained before, wegen Teichen ha'inyan von gematrios, regarding the concept of connecting words only with the gematria, yesh levaya gamkein dem tam was the shayches from the minyan anal v'gem Moshe. So we could also explain why the connection over here to this subject about Moshe, as do retzich wegen sein etzem shalamaylam b'bchinas shem, that we're speaking about the essence of Moshe that's above a name, is mirumez blois in the gematria from Shem Seder Tetzave. It's hinted only in the gematria, while derech zeh in mispar psukim, and it's hinted also only in the number of the psukim. Why does the hint to this come out specifically in something which is related only to the number, the gematria of the word, the number of the psukim, which seems to be just something that's very low and doesn't really express the content of the concept? So the answer is, based on what we said before, this is the whole point here. We're speaking about the very essence of Moshe Rabbeinu that's beyond any kind of revelation or expression. The Rebbe vertes nirmaz in a gematria, and therefore the only way this is hinted is in the gematria was es bechina achreina and velach es is nidokin gilui from teichen adavar kanal barucha. Since this is something that cannot be expressed through the content, the meaning of a word, a sentence. It's something that's beyond expression. There's only a hint to this in the number of the word, because we're speaking about the essence. That's why it comes out only in a gematria. Und dafke in the helen from the bechina achreina, it's in this concealment, in this lowest level of the word, the misparat teva, just the number of the word, steht der etzem, was is hechef and gili. Here you have the presence of the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu hinted in the word Tetzave, and in the number of the psukim of this week's parsha. That's the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu that's beyond any level of expression.